mid laner. We'll see how it's going to go. And as far as what we heard in that package earlier on, what do you think the strategy is here? Do we think that they're going in with their big guns first up? Of course, Plugo is a pretty well-known name from the Latin America's south side.
Yeah, he's looking great today. I think the strategy is Tahm Kench coming into this one, seeing what happened in the last series.
So it's not like, well, we'll put our best player first, we'll put our second best player first. No, just all of that's wiped off the table. Doesn't even matter anymore. The plan is Tahm Kench.
Gun for Tahm Kench. Plugo, pleasantly surprised watching him as a player. He had pretty good jungle synergy with him. I wasn't expecting. So
yeah,
depending on how he does in that 1v1, he's not like a big assassin player, but he might be able to make this work. Diud, on the other hand, I've seen him for a long time. You know, I used to cast him in like the challenger scene back in EU. Was also like a pretty decent mechanical player. He was a Thresh player for a long time. So in terms of skill shots, I have a lot of faith in him. I just don't know how this one will match up.
Dude as well just looked so incredibly calm and relaxed and just ready to go. No cares in the world, just ready to do Brazil proud.
Hair on point.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, this is a thing that we can certainly judge. However, I mean, first cab off the rank, he's ready to seal the deal here for Team Fire. There is a lot now on the shoulders of Brazil to make things very, very easy moving into tomorrow's matches. And as we hop into the champion select of this final 1v1 of the evening, not of course final 1v1 game, but final 1v1 match set, whichever one you'd like to call it. We need to work out a
we do
a term for that.
You're Australian, I'm European. It's all good.
I don't even know. Don't even know what's happening. But there are a bunch of bans. Syndra, Cassiopeia, and LeBlanc have been taken away on the side of Dude, and Caitlyn, Nasus, Tahm Kench been taken off the board here.
Yeah.
And it looks like standard red side bans here as well. It's like, can't see the Caitlyn, can't see the Nasus, can't see the Tahm Kench. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Remember guys, this is blind pick. I mean, you can play one of those guys. It's absolutely fine. But I know. Oh my goodness. Finally, we could potentially see the Nunu. It's a real icy 1v1 looking to be shaping up here, Pulse.
But he's on Team Fire. That doesn't even make any sense.
I know.
Yeah, but the day where we see Caitlyn, Nasus, Tahm Kench as the priority bans on red side. Either way, Taliyah picked up, which is the interesting thing. We'll have to think about that a little bit. What you don't need to think about is the Nunu.
Yeah, because you know exactly what he's doing. And look at the cold, calculating face of Dude who just picked Nunu and is basically just going to throw snowballs and walk at you, hopefully play Nunu bot, laugh in that incredibly annoying way, and then win the game. Oh, it's just so frightening. You can see Plugo, this guy, immediately, as soon as he saw the Nunu, he was like, oh god.
This guy's a Darius player.
I know what's happening. This is Ghost Ignite Darius on my night where I've only got one game to play.
Not like
this.
Well, Nunu is basically Nasus, except you throw snowballs at your opponent and then you eat minions.
Yeah.
There's not really any mechanics to him. You may be able to surprise your opponent if you get in melee range, pop the ultimate, burn a flash, depending on summoners. You may even want to go for like defensive spells here. The goal playing against Nunu is just trying to burst him down, run him down, because you're not going to win the sustain war.
No.
But just in general, Nunu is an asshole, and there's not much you can do against that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And of course, we've got a lot of experience having casted IWC in 2015. We saw Oceania, in fact, against Brazil, Carbon versus Kami, and the Nunu did reign supreme in that particular matchup in the hands of Carbon, who just threw a snowball, auto-attacked him a few times, threw another snowball, and won the game.
It's what we call an outplay when you when you pick Nunu. That's the extent of it.
Just incredible. Oh, and he's playing Nunu bot as well.
Of course he is. There's no other skin.
Yeah, but did you look at his face? He's like, it's like this is just a calculated strategy. When really you're just being a jerk.
But the mental mind games that Nunu bot brings to the table is definitely worth the investment. Took a bit of damage to the face there, doesn't matter, he can go back to base, and the minions have not spawned, so that's what you want to do if you're ever caught in your 1v1, even on Summoner's Rift, you get harassed a little bit around the 40-30 second mark, just go back to base.
But Plugo does know that the message has now been received, and Dude will not try any of that funny business ever again. Because he's going to have a bit of a giggle, and this is what our lives are now.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, Dude didn't probably need to go back. I mean, at the point where he gets consumed, he's just going to sustain forever. I just don't know how much damage Taliyah is going to do, because she got a round of nerfs on her combo. Easier to hit, but different, and just less damage in general. So I'm not sure she has the damage to deal with Nunu. That's the issue here.
Dude's decided that he just doesn't want a last hit. There's his first one underneath this turret. He's going to throw some ice balls. Try and auto-attack down these minions. It's a Doran's Ring start, so dude, not going for the standard health stack, where you're just a big jerk that can't die. He's actually looking to try and do some killing here, which I do like.
Now, Plugo's goal here is to be as aggressive as possible, as early as possible. Zone Nunu bot away from the minions, zone him away from himself, keep hitting him as much as possible before he peaks critical mass of Nunu. At the point where at the point where he picks up Consume, gets a couple levels in it, that's where it gets rather bad for Taliyah.
He's actually going with Deathfire Touch as well. This is going to be the slow, painful death of Ice Ball after Ice Ball.
Deathfire makes sense. I mean, he's not going to get more than anything else off on his opponent. He's not going to hit them 3 times, so you can see the burn there.
Look at the sick mechanics. Just clicks him.
Gave him the old right click. And backs away.
Powerful stuff.
You can't miss Cannon because you have Consume.
Yep. Why haven't I played this champion like every single game?
Pretty good, man.
Oh, he's going in. There's the exhaust down, dude. No longer able to attack as fast. Throws down the heal after he got exhausted. It's not a good idea. Oh, the barrier. Oh my goodness, Plugo. No, he's going to make it under the tower, and that's the first blood, dude. As soon as he turned around, that was game over, and the Nunu has been stopped.
GG, well played. Finally, we see a Taliyah take out a Nunu. That actually just makes me feel happy more than anything else. Dude looked for the all-in there.
That was justice.
Didn't have to
Did you feel it? I felt like there was justice
game.
emanating throughout this room as Nunu falls down. Nunu bot especially.
That's what you get.
Oh,
picking Nunu.
Amazing.
Right, let's see that glory one more time, because that's what I'm all about. Because dude, he's like, oh, I'm in a great place, just need to hit him one more time. And Nunu's bot's stubby little arms couldn't quite reach Taliyah.
No,
and that was
didn't
the
happen.
end.
And there's the reaction shot. Definitely deserved there by Plugo. And this Team Ice finally out to a good start here in these 1v1s. Plugo, we'll see whether he's got the ball rolling now for LAS to really bring this one home and keep Team Ice on the board. And of course, our next matchup is going to be Kami from the mid lane on the side of Brazil. Bear is going to be taking to the Howling Abyss as LAS's support. So mid versus support could be a dangerous one. And Kami was definitely doing well in the 1v1s. Last time we did see him, IWCA 2015. He was thwarted by Carbon, but it was up the ranks a little bit.
Kami's good. I don't think he's the raid boss of his lineup. I think that definitely goes to Yang, but he is up there. He's not even one of the ads. He's maybe a sub-boss. And Bear, he just goes in. So he will probably, as we were mentioning, apply the Carbon approach of just walk at the opponent and see what happens. And that could go 50-50. Kami's play will just try and outplay him and stop Bear from playing his game.
Well, we'll see whether he can actually get that one done because things are on the line. And Bear, he played the Pantheon today in the Assassin mode. We'll see whether he's going to be able to get a chance to do it here in the 1v1s. Because I personally think the Pantheon is a fantastic choice when it comes to 1v1s.
As do I. If you don't have mechanics, then Pantheon is the man for you.
That's the one.
You just press Q. He's AD Nunu. You just toss the spears, and then you have all-in potential.
I personally like Grasp of the Undying as well. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, it works against the EU casters. Super. So getting into this champion select, Atlus.
Yeah, I just wanted to have some hands-on experience analysis that I threw out there. This is all about play-by-plays attempting a bit of analysis here, Pulse, and I just really had a good time as we are into champions select. Karma going to be taken away on the side of Kami, and Syndra is going to be removed. Of course, he played it day one. Just get rid of it.
Yeah, Syndra is a perma-ban against all mid laners. Anyone who has the potential to play Syndra, you should just ban that one away, just because she will dominate the 1v1 pretty much regardless of who you pick, I think. Outside of those cheesy
exactly
picks.
What he wants to get rid of. That Cassiopeia ban came through immediately.
Get that one off the table. Again, Kami just too good with those mid laners, and Cassiopeia can be absurdly oppressive if he starts to get rolling, so don't want to play against that.
Yeah, Caitlyn, of course, very, very standard. Varus going to be the final ban. We saw do quite well yesterday. Nasus, of course, the Susan Award. Goes over this way as Bear's just like, I'm playing Annie, and I'm going to smack you with a bear, with a bunch of fire. And yet again, another champion that I was actually tossing up whether to play Annie or Pantheon. So you know that you can't really get that wrong.
I mean,
easily.
She's another point and click, right? Like,
yeah.
she's in a pretty good place. Whoa,
oh,
okay.
God.
All right, so I just want a ho from all the pro players. They're literally just right next to us, a couple meters away.
Yeah.
Urgot I'll get to in a second. Annie is a pick that Miffy is definitely behind. He was saying if you want to win that 1v1, Annie is up there in the tier list in terms of cheesy picks, because there's just not a lot to it. It's very brain dead. There's not a lot of outplay potential, but it's easy to get to the maximum potential of that champion as a player who doesn't often go for those 1v1s. So as a support player like Bear, just go for something like an Annie, a Pantheon, a Nunu, a Nasus, something where you can reach that very peak. And if your opponent tries something spicy, goes for something like an Urgot, like a Vel'Koz or something, tries to outplay you, screw you, I'm Annie. I'm just going to hit you in the face a bunch. Yeah,
and I know that you really like the analysis and all this sort of stuff, so it actually pains me to say this, but his name's Bear. He had to play Annie. Because she's got a bear. Yeah,
I mean, he's a special species of bear, because we've had, Mighty Bear, and he's just Bear. He's Vanilla Bear. He is the most vanilla of bears.
The OG bear.
The OG
just
bear.
Bear.
Just Bear. That's it.
Looking to try and throw one down. And of course, does need to get to that level 6 mark in order to do that. The big old switcheroo is going to come through from the Urgot at that point as well, but you can't really counter a big old bear to the face.
So the goal here really is for Kami to try and outrange his opponent and just hit those corrosive charges so he can lock on with the acid hunters. That is
the aim of the game.
Try and outrange the enemy, because her spells are the same range as her auto attacks. So if she's in range to auto attack you, she'll be hitting with Q instead. But Kami will be able to outrange that ever so slightly. So that will be the objective.
Yep, adorable little Frostfire Annie and terrifying Mecha Urgot. Not exactly something that you want to be coming up against as like a 12-year-old girl. It's not good. Not a good news story. It's actually a really frightening 1v1.
Indeed.
For a whole lot of reasons. Just waiting for the minions. Come down the Howling Abyss.
I can't think of anything particularly worse than Annie facing Urgot down.
Yeah.
Maybe Vel'Koz or Alawi, something like that.
Oh god, boss. Every time. Oh, misses the Acid Hunter flat out, does Kami. Still able to get that passive rolling. This bear looks to be like just trying to farm out this mini wave. I would have thought that those... Oh god, okay. Throws a snowball in there. He's looking to go aggressive.
Okay, snowball to Bear. He will need that to try and close the gap now that he's seen the Urgot, because he just has a slight range advantage. His auto attacks, of course, not, but with the Acid Hunters, as it is a skill shot. So Bear will be able to use that to get in range and just land the full combo. His goal, essentially, in life is to hit Kami as much as he'll let him, get to level 6, blow him up with his full combo, hit him with the exhaust, hit him with the snowball, and that will be his in. He doesn't even necessarily need to hit Kami. He just needs to hit a minion close to him, and he'll be able to get in there. That's goals. Goals for Bears.
Yep. Bear goals.
Bear goals.
Bear almost has that snowball back off cooldown, of course. Very low on the cooldown scale. It's that particular summoner, as Bear is going to be able to finally charge up that stun. Gets rid of it immediately. I wonder what his strategy is here, because... make it to level 6, go for that sort of pseudo-flash Tibbers maneuver, utilizing his snowball. But at the moment, he's not really harassing Kami at all. You could imagine that his life would be made a little bit easier if he was able to get him at least whittled down a little.
So it doesn't matter too much right now, because he needs to wait until Kami is near level 6, as Bear will be level 6 as well. He knows there's probably going to be someone going back during that time, so any harass he does now doesn't matter too much. However, I can CS with Q, and it's very easy to do so, and it doesn't hit my mana bar. So if I'm being pushed in by the Urgot, just use my Q on the mini wave. Try and get as many as I can before it heads to tower. Regardless of that fact, Kami is still winning, as he has priority, and it's very difficult to CS under tower. Just because of how the towers are actually slightly different in terms of doing more damage to the minions. So Bear has recognized this. But that is the thought process for Bear.
Yeah, also the fact that Kami, being the mid laner, very good. Farming things out. Often a role where you want to be just focusing on farm almost all the time. Isn't even going to miss a minion once he gets stunned. A little cute Fire Blast from Bear. Ooh, Thunderlord's Croc does come in. Half the health bar now down. So Bear finally trying to get aggressive.
Yeah, knowing the shield was down from Kami as well. The shield was actually very well timed from Kami, just kind of a flourish of mechanics, if you will. But Bear's like, I'm just going to walk up and hit you again. And you're Urgot, so
mechanics.
That's fine.
I like it.
Kami does not zone Bear away from the health relic, so he'll just get that one for freebies.
Is it just feeling a little bit like it's a lot calmer than we were expecting?
Yeah.
This particular bout. I mean, I thought that with an Urgot, with an Annie, You'd want to be sort of going at it a little bit more, both of them. Lots of readily available harass opportunities.
So I thought Kami would be going deeper onto Annie, and then Bear would be waiting for that level 6. So I was expecting more of that, right? You know, Kami harassing with the Acid Hunter combo with his corrosive charge. But so far he's been farming, and that's fine, because Kami is vastly ahead in farm. He's over 2 waves, so he can play this game. He now needs to be careful because Bear is approaching level 6, so as a result he'll go back, he'll pick up some magic resist, which will make it hard for Bear to just go for that I'm going to 80 to 0 you play.
Yeah.
So he has to take him a little lower, taking into account that the Hex Drinker is there.
Well, that's an Arm Guard purchase here as well as Bear goes back, but Hex Drinker is huge. Large sort of spike in power as well, being able to complete some sort of item. I mean, of course, Bear does need to stack his up, but will definitely do him some good, having those extra defensive stats. But I could imagine as an Annie, I mean, what you want is more executionary stats.
My thoughts exactly, dear Atlus. I think Bear should have gone for maybe either penetration or a little more damage to try and get through to Kami. His idea is like, I don't want to be too low, so if I go for my combo, I'm just going to die to Urgot. I get that, but he does need to be able to kill the Urgot because that's his win condition. So
yeah,
probably could go in a different direction. However, Arm Guard, a very efficient item against an AD matchup in this 1v1. We'll be able to stack it up. It's not a bad purchase, just maybe could have gone for more damage.
Well, Hyperkinetic Position Reverser is now on board here for Kami. Big note to say that he did take the Exhaust and Ignite combination. Good God, those Acid Hunters are really starting to stack up as in goes Bear. The Exhaust goes down immediately. He avoids using the Tibbers. He gets hit by that Acid Hunter and has to now go back.
Okay, so this is, in a weird way, kind of good for Bear. He just needs to get this recall off, go back to base. He loses the mini wave, but he would have lost that regardless. Kami burned both of his summoners. Bear still has his snowball on a low cooldown because that's not like a pure summoner, and also the exhaust. So next time he can go for that trade again, and if Kami stays in, he'll have to go back now after this wave, so he's burning the rest of his mana. But the next trade he can go for is significantly better. The fact that Bear survived that was just a good thing for his species.
Well, scary thing is that it's 22 CS, the lead for Kami, who's just been obliterating these minions over and over again. The tower down about 1/3 health as well. Bear is on the ropes. Only needs to kill the Urgot. Still has that opportunity. Has a full health bar. See whether he can do it, because now it's a Spectre's Cowl on the way for the Urgot.
So Bear is looking for some efficient trades here. He may just burn the Snowball to get in range, land like a Thunderlord once he has Pyromania up. So he gets the stun, an easy trade, backs away from Kami. Maybe he dodges the Acid Hunters, maybe he doesn't, but he's trying to get Kami within kill range now that he's level 7. He's got Tibbers, he's in good shape, he has the Summoner Spell advantage. The window for that, however, is fairly low because the 2 Summoners that Kami has down, Exhaust Ignite. It's not like a flash. So Bear needs to kind of up the tempo now, because if he doesn't, minions will come into effect and Kami wins.
Well, now Bear does have the Snowball. He's going to land it on the back line of the minions. Kami's just going to create some distance, get himself out of the way, and there's no opportunity here for Bear to go in. And Kami's just playing this calm and collected. Oh, the Bear comes in. Good stun from Bear. But is it quite enough? The health pack is going to be there, and the switcheroo under the turret. Bear tanks that one up, but utilizes his Tibbers to do so. Good stun as the exhaust did come in. Acid Hunter does land, but he's going to survive for the moment. And grab himself the health pack. Kami now just trying to zone, stop Bear from going back. However, he's going to head back to the minion wave and continue trying to win this one out. Slow and steady.
All right, Bear's in a bad place.
Oh, yes.
This is the definition of bad news Bears, because he needs to wait for his ultimate. That may not even be in 3 minions waves time, where at that point Kami would have won through minions. His exhaust is going to be down for his next trade. Doesn't have that either. And Kami's summoners are about to come up. This is all looking very dire for Bear. Outside of a mess up from Kami, this should be his game.
Kami as well, looking at his Summoner Spell cooldowns. They are about to come back up. Bear struggling to last hit underneath this turret at the same time. Half the health bar now on that particular structure. 12 CS. Spectre's Cowl is in. Another Ruby Crystal. Kami, we saw he was just doing so much damage regardless.
Doesn't matter, Bear can't kill him. He's playing the numbers game here, Atlus, and Bear is about to become another page in the Dunzo Manifesto.
sad. I have a feeling that it's true. And it's so difficult to watch. Bear just skipping down this lane, but if I was feeling the way he was, I probably wouldn't be skipping. Just watching yourself circle.
Yeah. If you could swap Annie's walking animation to anything else in the game, what would it be?
A shamble.
Shamble? Something like a zombie brand?
Yeah, like a zombie shamble.
Yep. Heimerdinger walk would be good.
Bear's just going to walk it, Kami. That was an odd maneuver.
Yeah. Well, Kami just needs to last hit these 3 minions perfectly, but he wins in 4 CS. So, CS is currently here. Bear has to make a play.
Yeah,
Kami
Bear
has Spectres.
does go in. Tibbers is doing some work onto Kami, but these minions are smacking him down as well. Good shield comes in, as Tibbers is going to at least be defeated. 2 more minions do have to land, as Bear has to try and do something. Another stun. No more mana is left. Kami just holds onto it. Oh my goodness. That would just look disgusting.
A win on minions. I mean,
just doesn't feel good, man.
It doesn't. It's not hype.
No.
But neither is Nunu. But it was in the last game, so I'll give him that.
Well, that
one.
was the Nunu losing. That's why it's
that's
hype.
why it was hype. But, I mean, he just had to play the numbers game. Bear, after the first back, like, he didn't play the matchup correctly. That was the other problem.
Yeah.
So while Annie is kind of a brain-dead champion that you can bring into the matchup and get to that level, if Kami actually knows what he's doing in the classic Urgot Annie matchup, then he actually can outplay you, and that's what we saw there.
Love the classic Urgot Annie matchup, one that we have been seeing for quite some time. Let's have a look at it. Kami just holds on to the Acid Hunter, makes sure he gets as many BM opportunities in as he possibly can, and then just takes down that final minion.
Feels Urgot, man. And that's the end of that chapter. So, another winner on the board.
He's got to go. Got to go. Something like that. It's just...
I'm sure Sifa can get it. He is the master of puns this event. So, he'll make that happen.
Not good at all. However, there are still 3 more 1v1s to try and pull us out of this hole that Nunu and Urgot have put us in. And Yang from Brazil, their top laner, of course, is going to try and take them out versus Helior, also the top laner for Latin America South. So we'll see which top laner is going to reign supreme as they head onto the Howling Abyss.
All right, so the Brazilian raid boss has been unleashed on the Howling Abyss. Yang heading out here. Monster at Worlds. Completely destroyed many of his opponents. Helior, not to sniff at either. We've seen how well he did yesterday. He is a very competent top laner in his own right, one of the powerhouses of his own team. But my money, at least for now, will be on Yang. But in terms of who is best to send up there, LAS sending up Helior, probably the best on the lineup outside of Wara, I would say.
Yeah. I quite like this. I'm excited because Yang sort of voted in from INTZ, the team that did go to Worlds. This guy's got a lot of experience. Revolta, you heard him talking in that feature earlier on, saying that Yang is their player that they have the most faith in. And now Brazil have the opportunity to make it 2-1 in this Fire versus Ice battle. Yet another nail in the coffin of Team Ice. We could be coming out of day 2 with no opportunity for Ice to be able to make it. Latin America South really need to try and help us get amongst it.
Trying to think what the picks will be here, as they are both top players, so actually very well suited to the 1v1 climate.
Exactly right. But Tahm Kench and Urgot have been taken away immediately. I do like it. Please get rid of... What was the other one that was ridiculous? Nasus needs to go. Caitlyn, of course, another opportunity. Rengar's going to leave instead, on the side of Yang. Maybe he considers himself the better Susan.
Maybe. Oh man, if we get a Susan matchup, a Susan mirror.
Oh god, a Susan off.
I'd probably just leave, come back in like 10 minutes, have a tea, have a coffee.
I think so too.
And nothing would have happened.
Oh god. Well, actually, someone would have won, and it would have been whoever kills the last minion first.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, the battle of the being able to last hit. Syndra is going to leave. Helior, please God, please do it.
Okay,
just
so
ban the Nasus.
Respect over to...
There it is.
There it is.
Thank goodness.
Nunu's
We can
still
stay.
open, so
There's
still some anti-fun on the table here, Atlus, but I have faith that these top laners will bring the thunder, bring the hype.
Oh, Helior.
Is that locked in?
Is that locked in? I think it's locked in.
Oh, baby.
Oh my goodness. I hope he's like Helior. If he now brings attack speed, uber clockwork, wind up Orianna to the table, I am so ready. That's how I thought that she was supposed to be played when she was first released. I was like, she's a Ginsu's Rageblade champion. Fantastic, let's do
Another
it.
one to add to my pool.
Yeah, Karma, Orianna, now we can do it. Of course, with Karma with a Ginsu's Rageblade makes a lot of sense due to the fact that you can get the cooldown down on her mantra.
Yes,
which is
sir.
very important, of course. It doesn't work, guys. I lost every single game. It was a disaster.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cass logged in against the
Are
Orianna.
these guys top laners? Or are they
Maybe,
mid laners?
we don't know. Cass went through a small phase of being a top laner. There was also the fantastic cheese when Grump buff was still a thing, where you would smite Grump,
God,
and then
yes.
if your opponent didn't notice and they auto-attacked you, they just died.
Yeah,
Because
you
you
just
twin fang them to death, yeah.
Mhm.
So maybe he's got mechanics since then.
I remember those 2 days after that was first discovered where people didn't know.
Incredible.
It was disgusting.
It was the 1v1 tactic.
That was a horrible time. That was a time where you wouldn't want to have that one game in the evening that you had the opportunity for.
Because that guy is playing against you.
Yeah, even if you were the Ignite Ghost Darius, you'd still be having
You'd probably lose, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And he was the one that probably would auto-attack you. But let's bring it back to this particular match, because Cassiopeia versus Orianna is an interesting one, because both of these guys have a lot of sustained damage, and we could see them just try and fight it out rather early on, because Command Attack, relatively low cooldown, Clockwork Wind-Up, very, very good, and Twin Fang as well, and something that you can spam relatively quickly now with this iteration of Cassiopeia.
So Frosk was talking about the Orianna into like Nasus matchup earlier, and how he would actually be good against the Nasus, being able to zone him away with the creeps, actually getting priority on that. But in a ranged matchup in the 1v1, Cass probably rises in priority just from knowing how mid lane matchups work. I'm not sure that the Orianna can just equalize and stabilize enough where the Cassiopeia just kind of takes over. So it could be a little risky. We'll have to see, because Orianna is still a very neutralizing matchup. So there's a chance that Helio just plays a really good game. And both players have gone for Ignite Exhaust. So we could see some of that fun all-in action.
I'm hoping for it. I am ready. Could be just like level 2. Let's do it. And do you think that, what do you think the best option to take first here for Helior is? Because a lot of, I guess, mid lane Oriannas in that sort of isolated 1v1 at the very beginning of a Summoner's Rift game would take that Command Protect, so you can trade with those auto attacks and not worry about the minion damage. Is that still probably the best option here, or do you want the ball for the zoning?
I think he might go Protect just because he's gone Doran's Blade, so he'll get in range for the auto attacks, give himself some more resistances if he gets hit by Yang. He may just have gone for the Q anyway to get the reveal on the bush, but as Yang is already hitting minions, it doesn't matter. There's the Command Protect. So since he's going for the auto attacks as his main source of sustain damage, then it makes more sense to put that level 1 in there and try and hit Yang, last hit these minions. You can see both laners, actually this is one of the first times we've seen it, where both laners are trying to challenge for that level 2 punish. And it's slightly over to Helior. He gets the auto attack and Grasp of the Undying.
Grasp of the Undying,
okay,
Orianna.
Helior gets level 2 here.
I thought I never would see the day as Yang is going to pick up that level 2 first, but Helior very quickly behind him, and now going to start zoning. That Command Attack is going to be there now. Yeah. Does have that whip crack with his ball.
So
Dissonance actually taken instead. He just wants to carry the ball around. Doesn't want to let it go.
That's actually funny for that level 2, because Helior had the advantage over the minion wave, so Yang instinctively backed away, but then Yang just had a minion in front of him. So they both hit level 2, and as a result, nothing really happens. But because of the pressure that Helior had and was able to exert, he just had the slight minion advantage. Nothing to write home about just yet, but something to keep in mind. And he also is winning out in terms of mana.
Going to get a bit of that back as he picks up the health pack. Level 3 now gained by both of these players. All of the spells in the book now collected by both. There, Helior gets himself the shield back, but still losing out on this trade. That is so much health the Yang has over Helior, even with that Grasp of the Undying being taken.
Yeah, if Helior wants to go for auto attack trades, he has to not get hit by Noxious Blast, because if he does the extra poison damage from Twin Fang, Yang automatically wins every single time. He's very low on health and mana, or rather mana, but it didn't matter. He was still going to win that trade, and Helior, you could see, he was just like, I just want to stay in combat long enough to hit you with my Grasp of the Undying. Okay, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. But at the moment, still winning out as far as the farm is concerned. The Orianna, of course, known for her ability to farm in general, but now with a little bit of extra AD, it's the dream. It's the dream farming scenario. Helior still playing very, very up and aggressive. Knows that he has that extra mana.
He has to, because if he does not, then Cassiopeia just simply takes over the lane. He knows that Yang also has the health part advantage over him. He has that biscuit to nom down on, so needs to be aware of that and is pushing out the wave. If he can actually get control over the health relic as well, then that would be good, because it is just spawning.
Oh, steals it away. Nicely done. Miasma is there, of course. Doesn't really matter here for Helior. He's just going to turn around. Yang uses all of his mana. Helior knows that he can now take advantage of the situation.
burns the pot, which is real big for Helios. So he has evened up the playing field and also has the minion advantage still. And he's able to continue the pressure. So despite Yang winning out on those 1v1 trades, Helios and just his like kind of manipulation of how the minion waves have worked has netted him the advantage in this 1v1 matchup. Yang is forced to stay in because the minion wave is mounting in front of him. This is like a wave and a half that he just simply can't risk missing out on.
Well, Helios just going to continue to farm these minions out very, very effectively. He's going to be 12 in the lead. These minions should fall to Yang relatively effectively. Cassiopeia known for her ability to control what happens underneath the wave. Noxious Blast going to help grab that minion. Misses 1, misses 2. So that is absolutely fine. Only 7 CS now between these two. Helio with the first back and grabs the Spectre's Cowl.
You know, biggest thing there was that Yang stayed around for the experience because he does not want Helio to have a massive window where he could just get comboed down by the ultimate, so he needs to have his in response. And he's gone for the double Sapphire Crystals. So
I think I'm going to throw out there that that is the worst buy I have ever seen.
He's going in for the long game, Atlus. He doesn't want to go back for a while. He wants to try and stay in lane and try and grind Helio down.
Couldn't he have bought a tier?
He could have done. That would have been an alternative.
I'm really perplexed as to what he's going for there, as Helio just taking no damage now from these Twin Fangs. Doesn't necessarily want to be walking on that miasma, but it is absolutely fine. To continue wandering around. The Spectre's Cowl probably giving him more health back from the mediocre damage that the miasma does do.
So Yang is able to push back now. Helio does have that level 6, but is matched by Yang because he stayed in. Does land the Q, which means he can follow up with a trade that is better for Yang. So this is starting to mount up because Helio, it's harder for him just to run all over Yang now that he has the threat of Yang just hitting the petrifying gaze.
Oh, and actually, I do understand the Sapphire Crystal.
All right, lay it on me, Atlus.
Okay, so basically what Yang has realized is that he wants to go for one bout against the Orianna here. He wants to be able to try and keep his mana as high as possible. You saw that he was just going as far in as possible. So just create a large mana pool so that in these isolated scenarios, you're just going to have more in the tank and don't focus necessarily on things like stacking it up or getting that regen. He wants to win quickly, in other words. That's where the buy makes sense. Otherwise, I hate it.
Well, between us, we probably make up part of an analyst, so I'm sure the analyst desk can help us out with that one, but this 1v1 trade is starting to heat up.
Yeah, very, very nice. Good poison to land here onto Helio from Yang, but the exhaust comes in. Helio's trying to fight that one back. The extra health that Helio has, you can see it's paying dividends. So Yang has to back away, and that mana that we were talking about, no regen, just the flat mana. He doesn't have too many of those trades in him.
All right, so really well played by Yang there in that last trade. As soon as the exhaust was popped, instantly back away. Get out of the Orianna range because she hasn't skilled Q. She's auto-attacking, and it's all about the auto-attacks for Helio. So with that being the case, you're not going to get slowed down by dissonance, and Helio will not be able to chase you down. So he now has the summoner spell advantage, and Yang is in a good place.
That is a really interesting tactic. Is the poison once again going to land, but a good command protect that it looks like Helio is maxing due to the fact that base level of shield is super high.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate he's laning against the Cassiopeia, because against pretty much any other matchup, he should just be able to dump them with the clockwork wind-up damage and the extra resistances. That was the idea. But going up against the Cassiopeia, who, if she hits poison on you, followed by the Twin Fangs, will out-trade you in a sustained battle. You saw Helio pop his ultimate there. It's just like, hi, he sombreroed himself. Actually, he was just trying to clear out the minion wave to try and match that from Yang, try and push it into tower, and then get the minion wave advantage. Yang, reading this and seeing that happen, stays in lane to push the next wave.
Yeah, I thought it was just hula hoop practice.
It could have been that too.
He's gone home. Got to get that practice in when you can. Because hula hooping is all about consistently going for it, you know? You can't really half-ass hula hooping. Now Yang is going to battle everything. Oh, misses the ultimate, but still doing so much damage. Good shield, as Helio's going to let that eat up all of the ignite. But he's down to about 200 health. Now Yang has to go back, and those summoner spells are going to be for naught. Sorry, summoner spell. Just the ignite goes down, the exhaust still there.
Helio's in a rough spot now. Like, if he gets caught by anything, he's probably dead from Yang's harass.
Speaking of which, needs one more Twin Fang. There's the honorable GG! Fantastic play, and that is going to be it. Brazil up 2-1 now. Fire once again reigning supreme. Oh my goodness. Only 2 more members of LAS to hold on to all of the hopes of Team Ice, and both of them now need to grab that victory.
Well, Helior can feel good about that one. He was against what was essentially the raid boss coming in from Brazil, so he put on a good showing against him with a very interesting tactic with this Orianna, but he had to stay in. If he didn't stay in, then he loses on minions. If he does stay in, this happens. Anything that lands on him, a slow from Miasma, a Q, is GG. So he was just put in the rough spot after how the kind of mid-game of that 1v1 worked out, but all in all, just really well played to Yang. He just played that perfectly.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. And I want to say as well, just put myself in the dumpster just a little bit, he used the very last of his mana in order to get that kill. If he didn't have the extra Sapphire Crystal, he would have lost that game. So I'm an idiot, just flat out an idiot. But let's introduce the next pair. It is going to be Brazil's AD carry, PBO representing Team Fire, and Klatos, the jungler from Latin America South representing Team Ice. With all of Team Ice's hopes now on his shoulders, we'll see whether he can carry them through. Klatos, though, has been a very good player for the Latin America South region as a whole. We'll see whether he can pull it through here against the rookie PBO.
So I have a lot of faith in Klatos, but only as a macro player. He's a very smart player, but in terms of mechanics, that's what he is not known for. That's why the other day when he was facing down a mechanically gifted player, I was like, oh, well, Brain actually beat Braun. Yes, it did in that circumstance, but you're in a 1v1 where you have to fight your opponent and not necessarily on a playing field that is right for you. It's a completely even playing field. So if he can pick something very smart and has a strategy in store for us, that's how he wins the game. But in terms of pure mechanics, a jungler up against an ADC, it could be very rough for him.
I have a feeling that he needs to utilize something like the Turkish tactic, which was find that pick that is stupid dumb, like the Tahm Kench.
Find the Gouda, find that Wensleydale.
He really needs it. He really needs the smart cheese.
PBO is ahead of the game, though. He knows Klatos probably going to bust that one out, so take away the brain-dead champions. Take away Pantheon.
Hey, but we're just talking about Klatos as the guy that's not going to play the brain-dead champions, Pulse. What are we selling here? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Cassiopeia, you're going to leave. That's good.
A subscription to Klatos. Cassiopeia.
Thank God. Susan's gone at the same time. Tahm Kench probably needs to be removed. Nunu is going to be the option that PBO takes. Just doesn't want to go against it. He's like, I want to play an AD carry. This is dumb.
He's taking it's the shotgun approach to anything that Klatos could possibly have in terms of stuff that isn't inventive. Ooh. I think Klatos has something more inventive to show.
He needs to play Tahm Kench. Because we know that Tahm Kench cannot be beaten.
Especially if PBO goes Ashe or any ADC, which is likely.
Yeah. He's been cycling through a few of them now. And Klatos is holding on to his choice. You can see him. I mean, he's a pondering man right now.
He is.
But there is a sly smirk underneath that hand, I believe.
I can see it.
Yeah. He's ready.
He's ready.
He's
all right, what have you got for us?
Oh, Klatos, do it. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. That's going to be the misfortune. Is it going to be misfortune? What the heck? 3 seconds to go. Is it going to be the Ziggs?
Okay, all right. I see it.
This is it. The classic Ziggs misfortune matchup. The one I've always wanted. I mean, we're creating circles that slow people down, except Ziggs has got a heck of a lot of little bombs in there. Possibly water balloons if he goes for the adorable skin.
Okay, I'm a little surprised we may have not seen Ziggs earlier, because he now has the Hexplosion on towers. He can destruct them at like 30-something%.
Yeah.
So he can actually go for that as a win condition way easier. He can push in mini-wave super fast.
Yeah.
And for most champions, they can't push against Ziggs. His problem is mana, so that could be something that comes into consideration, but I knew Klatos had something, and this is it.
Yeah, this is what's in the bag. I wonder whether he's been playing that jungle Ziggs that everyone's been talking about.
Maybe.
Yeah, and by that I mean they have not been talking about that at all. I don't think that's even a thing. But I'm incredibly excited to see what he can accomplish on this champion, because we saw Tahm Kench before. I wrote it off, I'm not going to lie to you.
We all did, I think.
Now with the Ziggs, first time we've seen it, first time I've seen it in a 1v1 setting, I'm ready to believe.
I'm ready to believe too. PBO, got to be careful of him though. He's on an ADC as an ADC player. Additionally, Misfortune, he'll probably just go for the EMAX, or if he's feeling really confident, go for the double up, because he knows Ziggs will be playing back in this lane. So it's actually easier to try and line up the the queue, because it's unlikely that he'll go further into the minion wave. Because he won't be that far back.
Yeah.
He'll be able to just walk up and hit the back line of minions, but if Kratos reads that, then he can just walk away as well. So I'm probably just expecting an E max from PBO.
Look at that. Passive doing some damage here from Kratos, remember. Charges up. He's able to pop that fuse. Smack the Misfortune down.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of damage. And Ziggs doesn't even have like the shortest attack range in the game. It's very similar to the standard of ADCs. It's 550. So he can match the range of Misfortune, who is also 550. So he's always almost able to land his auto attack with his passive, which hurts a lot.
Yeah, it really is a 1-2 punch. You can smack them with that bouncing bomb as well. This is what I was going to be talking about, is that double up that PBO could have possibly taken means that he sort of has to stand in his minion wave if he wants to harass Kratos with it, and that bouncing bomb would then be able to clear the wave and harass down his opponent, which could be an opportunity for the Ziggs to get that pushing advantage. Stop PBO from really pulling out too much, as the bouncing bomb is going to go wide. PBO very, very healthy here. He's able to look in that brush. Nice scrying old purchase. But there's the bouncing bomb.
That is true. PBO just wants to sit on the side of the minions, though, just like that. He's going to follow up.
Oh my goodness, bouncing bomb comes in. Oh my goodness! Fantastic use of the exhaust. Can Kratos?
Oh!
No! Team Fire! There it is, as PBO at level 1, level 2, is able to take that one down. That was so incredibly close.
Unbelievable. That just came down to like the last auto attack or anything else they had left in the bank, and PBO just happened to come out on top. He got 2 good trades as Kratos just kind of ran towards him. Kratos just didn't play the game he was looking for. He was on Ziggs. He wants to push in. He wants to try and get you to the tower, play around those late game win conditions. Got a little greedy because he hit him at level 1. It's like, I should do a lot of damage. And then he tried it again against Misfortune, who does more damage because she's Misfortune, and then just lost.
Yeah, but you've really got to fight in windows as the Ziggs. I mean, you need that short fuse to come up in order to grab it. But Fire, of course, has just taken the victory. We are going to play out the final 1v1, but Fire is going to be the team sending 3 representatives into day number 4. Oh my goodness.
I mean, Fire is just lit right now. Everyone they have on their team, incredibly good, and they just have all of these players who match up so good in these 1v1s, and they busted out the big guns also at the start as well, bringing out Yang, followed by this, and that's just really unfortunate for Ice.
Yeah, really, really sad. However, they are still going to have 1 representative, so they have to fight it out in amongst themselves to try and get to the top of that pool. My goodness, 1 more 1v1 to come for tonight. And it is going to be Revolta from Brazil, the jungler, the lovely man himself, and Warangulus from LAS, the AD carry, and the man that this team put a lot of stock into in that first feature that we did see. Phenomenal hair at the same time. I mean, when you make us feel bad, like that is a head of hair you could write home about.
Because you're worth it, Wara at the ADC here. I mean, we know Revolta is the most handsome man on the Rift, but Wara is making a pretty good.
Yeah, I was ready to say it and be very confident in it, but at the moment,
Wara just walked on it. Was just like, actually.
Honestly, I'm not sure. So we got to try and focus in on the League of Legends that they're going to be playing. That is the most
difficult,
important part
difficult.
Here. It most certainly is, especially when we've got a close up of Revolta's face right now. That's just being cruel and mean. It's slightly unusual. But
either way,
Wara. Let's get back to it. I lost my mind just for a moment there.
Yeah, me too. I was just staring into those eyes. But Wara, very impressive from what we saw yesterday. I was expecting him to be one of the aces of this team coming into this. So I actually thought he was maybe going to be playing earlier to try and net them some points. But he is playing now, so he might be able to redeem them and stop them getting clean sweeped. On the opposite side, Revolta, he didn't have faith in himself. I had more faith in him than he did. So I want to see him just pick something like Lee Sin. It's not necessarily the best in 1v1s anymore, but he has the mechanics on that champion.
And Team Fire has already won, so you can just have some fun, Revolta.
YOLO!
Doesn't even matter, but we are.
Get in there.
The bans are already there. We got Caitlyn Varus Misfortune taken away by Revolta. Nasus, Urgot, and Nunu are going to be the options removed by Wara. And he spelled Nunu, which sounds like the voices of Team Ice crying out in terror. Suddenly silenced. That last 1v1 ended, making Team Fire victorious. Unfortunately, but look at Revolta. He's hovering the Lee Sin. I very much hope that he does it. Oh, don't do it to us.
That's why I'm locking the Lee Sin, so I look like a good analyst, to be honest. But Wara locking in the Jhin. I think it's pretty decent in the 1v1s. Miffy thinks it's trash. We'll see. Cassiopeia locked in for Revolta. Okay.
Yeah, that's odd. Wasn't expecting it. I was hoping that he'd have some fun. He did hover the Pantheon, which we've seen in and out of the bans, but not necessarily picked yet, I don't think, this 1v1 section of the tournament.
What, Cassiopeia?
No. Pantheon.
Jhin? Pantheon? No. Has not. Jhin neither.
I know.
Picked, yeah.
Well, we'll see whether Warangulus can actually make something happen on this Jhin. I personally don't like it. Just don't like it. I don't know why. Just don't feel like it'd be good in a 1v1. I feel like he's just a little bit flimsy, maybe. Not necessarily the champion that you would want as far as trying to get a 1v1 victory. However, Cassiopeia, very good in that department. We saw that late as a jungler.
Me too. It's interesting he went for Cassiopeia. It's just like, I'm a low mechanics player. Like, the highest mechanics I have are Lee Sin, very difficult champion. But let me go for the other high skill cap champion of Cassiopeia in the mid lane and try and make that work. We'll see. It should theoretically be a good match of him into the Jhin because just of how, in terms of ranges, she should be able to get on top of him, slow him down, just force him back and pick up the kill. Jhin, on the other hand, just because of the disparity in it's an ADC playing an ADC versus a jungler playing Cassiopeia. He might be able to get in range and just land a couple cheeky auto attacks, land some spells, follow up with the ultimate, and net a kill. That is what Wara is looking for.
Oh, like ships in the night! They pass one another. Revolta taking so much damage. That last crit is going to do so much work, but fantastic timing on the exhaust. The ignite's ticking down. The barrier's there. Revolta so low, but getting in the last but not enough mana! There's the first blood! As Team Ice gets one back. Warangulus, that hair obviously pulled him across the line, and these guys did not want to mess around. It's like minions haven't even spawned. Let's kill each other. Let's do it.
Glorious. I mean, honestly, that was probably the best opportunity Revolta is going to get in that matchup. In a prolonged trade and a prolonged 1v1, the ADC will probably just win out in terms of mechanics, but actually just gunning for the 1v1 at the start of the game and just saying, screw it, I'm just going to trade with him is a pretty good strategy to take. But Wara, as a hero to his team, returning. His team definitely had faith in him, as you heard from the feature earlier as well. So, yeah, definitely a good man to have some stock in.
And I'm so glad as well that they have so much excitement now for the one victory, you know, that he was able to pick up towards the end, even though Team Fire has already taken the lead. On the exhaust, secured it. As Revolta was so close, but the last Twin Fang, no more mana. And he can take his hands off the keyboard at that stage.
That was just kind of a mess at the end, because once you throw all of your spells down, it's just like, well, it just comes down to auto attacks. And like
I love as well the fact that we were talking about he picked up this mechanics intensive champion. In that particular 1v1, that's only one targeted ability that he had to worry about.
Correct. No skill shots.
Yeah. Although his timing on the exhaust was fantastic, avoided that crit damage for the last bullet, and unfortunately gave the Jhin time to reload and shoot him in the hand. But for more on Team Fire's domination, Hingers is with Kami. Let's hear what he has to say.
Thank you, Atlus. I am here indeed with Kami. Congratulations on the win. Let me start by asking about your order. How did you guys decide in what order you were going to come out today?
Yeah, so we were either deciding between me and Dude going first, but in the end we decided for Dude. I don't know, we just didn't study it that much. We just like, we had no idea what we were doing, honestly. Yeah.
And yet you still managed to get the big win. Revolta said earlier today he wasn't particularly confident in his abilities. He was going to ride your coattails to victory. How do you deal with that kind of pressure?
Well, yeah, all of us weren't really that confident because we didn't really know the best strategy for the 1v1, but Revolta was definitely not really happy about it. That's why we just put him last and be like, okay, we'll do our best and we'll just play last and hope for the best, yeah.
Excellent stuff. And then tomorrow, All for One tournament, give us a sneak peek. What do you guys think you're going to do tomorrow?
Oh yeah, we still need to look at the champions and see what's the most OP combination. So far, we're still deciding, we're not sure yet. But yeah, we're going to look it up today.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today. Best luck tomorrow. And I'll throw it over to Sifa now at the analyst desk to